Meta ads are easy once you know what you're doing, but most gym owners are just throwing money down the drain without even realizing it. In this video, I'll show you the exact steps that you need to know to actually bring in customers through meta ad campaigns. If you're wondering who I am, my name is Paddy. I own a marketing agency that helps gym owners and other fitness businesses scale up, and meta ads is one of the main channels that we use to do this. So if you stick around to the end of the video, I'm going to show you the exact tips, tricks and formula that we use to generate results for our clients, so you can take what you see, implement it yourself and start to see your gym business actually grow. Okay, so here we are. We're in a dummy ad account. I'm just going to build out a new campaign so you can see exactly what I do step by step. And if you want to, you can just follow along and build out your own campaign whilst you watch this video. Now, I've already made two videos before this. One about the meta ad blueprint, which is simply just a slideshow of me going through tips and tricks on how to build a meta ad campaign. I've also done another video going into massive detail about how to write good ad copy for your gym. So this is sort of part 3 of this video series. You don't necessarily need to watch those, but if you want better idea of why I'm doing the things that I'm doing on this meta ad campaign, and you feel like some of the questions that you have whilst you watch this video aren't answered, then they probably will be in those videos. So once you finish this, if you want a better understanding of how meta ads work, then please go back and watch those videos. Particularly the ad copy one. There's a document at the end of that video which is going to help you write out your own ad copy, so you can just save that to your computer, use it in the future anytime you want to start writing ad copy. It will definitely help you out. As I say, if you feel like I'm gliding over things and I'm not giving a massive explanation on as to why I'm doing certain things, then go back and watch those videos and your answers will probably be your questions will probably be answered there. So with that said, I'm going to create a new campaign, and this is going to be the first important decision that we need to make. Your campaign objective is an extremely important decision, and there's a few reasons for this. Number one is the meta algorithm is extremely powerful, but it can only become powerful once it has been given the appropriate campaign objective. It can optimize and learn through AI and machine learning to generate the best results, but the only way it knows what results it needs to generate is through the campaign objective. 95% of the time, what we're going to be clicking is leads, okay? If we're paying money for ads, we want those ads to generate a tangible return. So what we don't want to be doing is wasting money on campaigns like awareness, traffic and engagement. There are use cases for that. However, more often than not, we want to generate leads, because leads is what is going to actually help us get customers, okay? Awareness, traffic and engagement isn't going to do that, okay? App promotion is useful if you have an app, but I'm assuming most of you don't. And obviously sales is going to be better if you're more of like an e-commerce store and you're selling actual physical products. But for gym owners and other fitness businesses, you're going to be wanting leads. So that is really important. Make sure that you are picking leads. And then it's going to ask if we want the campaign to be made for us, which is a tailored leads campaign. So basically Meta just build it out for you. Now, this is good if you have already spent a lot of money on ads and your ad account has learned a lot about you, your business, and the people that you're trying to target and the people that are most likely to convert. However, if this is maybe your first 10th meta ad campaign, I would definitely stay clear of this. But even then, more often than not, we're going to pick manual lead campaign, because we want complete control over how this campaign is set up. And not only that, we want to understand exactly how we've built out campaigns, because if we know whether they're successful or whether they fail, we know exactly what's gone into them to either make them successful or not, so that we can either stay away from decisions we made or we can replicate them in future campaigns. However, we're not going to know what truly went into the tailored leads campaign, because Meta just builds it out for us. So to remain fully in control, we're going to pick manual lead campaign. And then we move through to the campaign level. So rule number 1, always name your campaigns, okay? If you're going to be building out lots of campaigns and they're going to be running at the same time, then if you don't have them named and properly organized, then it's going to be extremely hard for you to come back and locate particular ad sets and ads in the future. So by keeping everything organized and naming them as you create them, then we're just going to avoid any sort of confusion and spending hours rummaging through your ad account to try and find particular ads. Now for us at this point, There's not many other things that we need to change here. We simply just want to name the campaign an appropriate name. So obviously this is going to be a cold campaign because we are trying to push this campaign out to a cold audience, so an audience that doesn't know of us already. And everything else that is set is going to be fine. Campaign budget, auction type is fine, or sorry, the campaign details. Advantage plus campaign, or advantage campaign budget, sorry, is going to be useful if we have loads of different campaigns running. However, for a simple ad campaign that we're looking to run to generate customers to our gym or other fitness businesses, we don't really need loads and loads of campaigns. We don't need 5 to 10 campaigns, okay? We probably just need 2 or 3 at most. And that's going to be very manageable for us to monitor daily and understand what's happening, where money's being spent. So we don't need to use the advantage campaign budget, again, because we allow ourselves to have more control over the campaign. So for that reason, we're going to keep this off. And then the A/B split test, we can do that within the ad sets. So we're not going to do that here. So once our campaign is named appropriately, we shall move through to the ad set level. Now, again, we want to name this appropriately. So I'm going to name this broad targeting 1. With the ad sets, there's no right or wrong way of naming it. I like to name them after the type of targeting that we're going to do, because that's the main thing that we're going to be testing within the ad set. What you might do if you're testing out different conversion locations, which you can see down here, then you might want to name it something different. So I like to use a vertical line to break up stuff, and then we could do instant form, and then another ad set might be landing page if we're going to be testing that. But for the sake of this video, we're just going to be naming it after the targeting. And more often than not, I recommend that your targeting is quite broad. I will show you that in action at the end, probably in a couple minutes. But let's move on to the next decision that we need to make, which is going to be your conversion location. So essentially this is once someone clicks your button on your ad, so your call to action, and the button might be sign up now, get offer, buy this thing, leave, and whatever your call to action may be, this is where that button takes you to. So this is where you get to select that. Now, as you can see, there are several options. The 2 most popular ones, and the 2 ones that you're going to probably be using the most, is instant forms, which is just already selected, and website. So website is going to mean a landing page which you build out, which is essentially just an instant form on a web page that you've then built. There's no right or wrong here. We use landing pages because we have more control over the sort of customer journey that a lead or a potential lead will go on. And we have complete customization on how that landing page looks, the messaging, where we're allowed to put that messaging, the sort of format and flow of the landing page, we have complete control over. Whereas instant forms, it's very simple, very basic. If you are new to meta ads and you're not the most tech savvy, then instant forms is going to be the easiest thing for you to do, because Facebook or Meta just make them for you, and you don't have to worry about building out a landing page, domains, and all of that rubbish. You can just come in here, generate a lead form, which is essentially just a form that says what is your name, your email, your number, and then any other information that you might want to ask. But I would recommend keeping it simple as just literally name, number, and email. You don't need any more information than that. Particularly if this is your first campaign, you want to make it as easy as you possibly can for leads to sign up. So by asking too many questions, people start to disengage, they become uninterested, and you lose that lead simply because you've just asked too many questions. So keep your lead form and your landing page as simple, no matter what you pick. But for the sake of this example, we're going to be using instant forms because everyone can do that. Okay, they're very, very easy to build out. The other ones are useful, and they might have their use cases, but again, similar to the campaign objectives, you're going to probably want to be using instant forms or websites if we're looking to generate tangible business results, i.e. customers. You don't really need to look any further than websites or instant forms. Now, if we carry on scrolling down, there's a lot within the ad set level which we're probably not going to be changing, particularly if this is one of our first or within the first few campaigns that we're running. So we can change our performance goals to number of conversion leads. To be able to properly do that, we need to build out or connect a CRM system that we have either created or we use. That takes some setting up. And also in the beginning, we don't need to worry about this. Okay, maximum number of leads is probably what we want to go for. We want to get as many people in as we possibly can. If we find within the future, after a few months of running campaigns, we're wasting a lot of time on unqualified leads. So we're calling people up or we're texting people, and essentially they're just tire kickers and they're wasting our time. Then by optimizing for conversion leads, this can actually get rid of the tire kickers and get rid of the time wasters, and it's going to find people that are actually have a better likelihood of converting. Our cost per lead might increase, but we're happy to increase our cost per lead if it means that we're now wasting less time on leads that are cheaper, if you understand what I'm saying. But again, this is more designed for people that are really looking into their first few ad campaigns. We're going to keep that as maximum number of leads. Again, cost per result. This is going to be useful if you're looking for a very hands-off approach to meta ads and you have a very good idea of how much a lead is costing on average and sort of how much you're willing to pay for a lead. This isn't going to be useful if you haven't ran a lot of meta ad campaigns and you have a very good idea of how much you're paying for a lead and what is that sweet spot in terms of quality and quantity in terms of the price of a lead. So I would stay away from this in the future if you are literally just looking to set an ad campaign running and you don't want to look at it every day, then this might be a good option for you. But I recommend if we are spending money on this, we want to be monitoring it at least daily, if not twice a day. So for that reason, we don't need to set a cost per result because we are constantly monitoring the campaign, so we can keep a very close eye on things ourselves, and we don't need Meta to do it for us. Dynamic creatives, not something that we're going to cover today, not necessary for actually generating results. These are sort of added extras that you can play around with in the future once you get a little bit more advanced and you have a better understanding of ad campaigns. But for now, simply not needed. Moving on. So budget and schedule. So this is where you set your budget. Now Meta, it's a daily budget. We recommend a daily budget. You can use a lifetime budget if you are setting start and end dates. But again, like similar to the cost per result goal, what I'm hoping for is people that are running their ad campaigns, you have the intention of monitoring these ad campaigns daily, if not twice a day. Okay, one in the morning, one in the afternoon. You just give them all a look over. You understand what the results are. Do we need to make any changes? So we don't need to be setting start and end dates because we're going to be looking at this every day. And if we find that ad sets need to be turned off or ads need to be turned off or campaigns just need to be completely revamped, then we can do that and we can see the results in real time, and we don't need to rely on start dates and end dates. But obviously here is a very important thing. So we want to be setting our daily budget. So I would recommend. Now, obviously, this does depend on what your total budget is for the month. But say we're looking to spend about £500. What I would do is I would set your daily budget at £10 because at the moment, particularly if it's one of our first campaigns, we don't truly know what is going to work. Okay, we have a good idea. We're making educated guesses here. But like I say, we don't know because we haven't actually yet seen tangible results from what we're doing. So set the ad budget in the beginning at slightly lower, get an understanding of what's getting results, what isn't, and then we can look to increase that after week 1 or week 2, and we know what ad sets are actually performing well. So yeah, start low, slowly increase as the weeks progress, and you get a better understanding of how your ads are working, what's converting well, what isn't, and because what you don't want to do is set your ad budget really high at the beginning and waste it all on ads that aren't really that effective, and we're wasting money, and we're not in the business of wasting money. We're in the business of making it. So yep, start low and slowly increase once you have more data. Okay, again, this is a slightly more advanced setting. Budget scheduling, you can look to increase your budget at certain times of the day, but we're not going to know what times of the day we should be increasing our budget because we don't yet have that data. Unless you are watching this and you have already spent thousands of pounds on ads, then maybe this is useful for you. But I'm assuming if you're watching this, then you probably haven't spent thousands of pounds on ads yet. So don't worry about this. Also, Meta will just naturally increase your budget at times of the day that it has found to be more effective or have a higher likelihood of conversion, or at least lead generation. So Meta will do this for you anyway, but if you want to go in and manually set it, then that's where you would do it. Okay, moving on. So now we are in audience control. So now this is where we set our targeting. There's two options for targeting. So we have audience controls here and we have advantage plus audiences. Now, the difference between the two is audience controls should be seen as almost like laws or guidelines that cannot be broken. Okay, these are set rules that you give to Meta that you are essentially saying under no circumstances can you break these rules. Advantage plus audiences is essentially a push in the right direction. So you are suggesting to Meta, I think that my audience are going to be like this, how I describe, but Meta has the ability, or you are granting permission to Meta for it to sort of just look slightly outside of that sort of point of direction that you've given it to see if people that aren't quite what you've described actually convert better. Okay, so we're allowing Meta the freedom to do its own exploration of who's going to convert well based on the demographics and the targeting that we've provided. Okay, so it's not going to go too far afield. It's not going to look for completely different people, but it does have the freedom to look outside of the exact description that you've given it to sort of test the waters basically and understand if, okay, the targeting that I've been given by the person that's controlling the ad set or the ad account is somewhat accurate, but maybe it's not quite the person that they actually are looking for, and people slightly here or slightly there are going to be better. So that's essentially what the difference is between the two. So let's start with audience controls. So the number one thing, and this is going to be the most important thing that we are going to set, is going to be the location. Now, obviously, we are a gym. So if we are a gym owner, then we have a physical location. So we are bound by our location in terms of targeting. If you're watching this and you're an online coach and you can serve anyone in the world, then you could start looking at people in all over Europe. You could maybe go to the States, Canada, Australia, New Zealand, wherever you want to serve, essentially, Dubai, Middle East, wherever. If you want to be targeting these locations, then you can. But this is designed for gym owners. So, of course, there's only a certain amount of distance that people are going to be willing to travel to actually come to our gym. So we need to keep that in mind when we're setting our location. I live very close to a city called Milton Keynes in the UK. So I'm going to set Milton Keynes as our location and just pretend that, for the sake of this video, that we are a gym owner within Milton Keynes. Now, naturally, Meta is going to give us a radius of 25 miles. But 25 miles, that is about an hour's drive. So we can assume that people aren't going to be driving over an hour to come to our gym, even over half an hour to come to our gym, okay? Unless you are a gym that has an extremely powerful brand, or you are a very niche type of gym, or you have some extremely out there specialist equipment that you can't get elsewhere, you need to realize that you have competitors that do the same thing as you that are probably closer to these people, okay? So if you're in a densely populated city, then you probably don't want to be setting your targeting too wide. If we are, say we're in London and we're targeting 25 miles plus, people that are 25 miles away from your gym are going to have other options for gyms far closer to them. So as soon as your ad gets shown to someone that's 25 miles away, they click on your ad, they want to look and see more, you've paid for that click, and then they realize that you're too far away, and so they never convert. That is literally the definition of wasting money. So what we need to keep in mind is we want to make sure that our targeting is as accurate as it possibly can be. Now, in terms of minimum radius, the minimum is 10. So we can't go any lower than 10. So for us, being in the middle of a city for our hypothetical gym that we're marketing right now, I would recommend that 10 is probably as much as we want to go. So at that point, the outskirts of this radius, we're looking at about a 25 to half an hour drive. So we can't go any smaller than that. If we could, maybe we would go slightly smaller in terms of a radius, but I think this is going to be appropriate for us and our hypothetical gym. So like I say, if you're in a city, keep your radius as small as you possibly can. If you're out in the middle of nowhere, or you know that you don't have a lot of competitors within a decently sized sort of radius of you, then sure, feel free to increase that radius. But again, it's going to be an awful shame if we're spending money on ads and then we end up wasting that money because we just simply didn't set our targeting well. Okay, so please keep this in mind. It's a simple decision, but it needs to be the right one. So another thing that's going to help us dictate our audience, our targeting size is our estimated audience size, which we can see here. I'll move myself. So we can see that Meta gives us sort of a red, green, and yellow system, so we can see whether what we're doing is the correct thing. So here we're basically getting shown how many people are actually within our area that we've set that are going to match the description that we give Meta. Now at the moment that's going to be pretty much everyone that lives within this area, so around 278,000 people to 330,000 people. But as we start to add more and more targeting options, this is going to decrease that number as more and more people get pushed out of our sort of desired targeting. So what I would say is if your smaller number is above 250,000, then that's great. So for us right now, this is good. I'd be happy if you were a gym in Milton Keynes. I'd be happy to leave the targeting like this. But yeah, this is going to be another good indicator of how big you should make your targeting. Now, again, the number one dictator is how far are people going to be willing to travel to get to my gym, but then a secondary metric that you can use that's going to help you decide how big you make this sort of targeting radius is going to be your estimated audience size. So keep that in mind. It is useful, but don't be governed by it. Again, the number one thing is how far are people going to be willing to travel to the gym. So that is targeting location. If you live out in the sticks, this is another thing to remember. If you live out in the middle of nowhere and there is low population density, then you probably have a better scope for making your radius slightly larger. But if you're in a densely populated city, it's going to be smaller. Just remember that. And depending on where your gym is, you can make the right decision. Okay, this is not useful for us. We're a physical location. Now here, on the actual sort of rules and laws that we can set to Meta, we can only set a minimum age. There isn't a maximum age option, and the oldest that we can set people, or the oldest minimum age that we can do is 25. Now, for us as gym owners or sort of any other fitness business, I don't think a minimum age is going to be applicable to us. This is good if you are selling stuff that is only allowed to be sold to people of a particular age. Maybe your product is only allowed to be bought by 21-year-olds, or perhaps you're selling a product that just simply doesn't appeal to younger demographics. So you just want to get rid of sort of teens because you just know that teens aren't going to be interested in whatever it is that you're selling. But for us as gym owners and people within the fitness industry, there are lots and lots of young people getting into fitness, so we do not want to be setting a minimum age. If anything, we would bring this down, but we can't do that. So yeah, don't worry about the minimum age. Again, if you are someone that you think, okay, well, none of my members are below the age of 23, let's say, sure, you could set 23 as the minimum age, but also, again, as you spend more money and as Meta starts pumping out your ads more and more and learns more, it's going to understand what the minimum age needs to be for your business and what ages are going to have the highest likelihood of converting. So if you don't know and you're not sure, don't get bogged down by that. Just leave it, because Meta ads will do the heavy lifting for you. Again, we are just setting guidelines. And if anything, we don't want to limit it here. We just want to let it learn. So if you're unsure, leave it. And it's not going to be the end of the world or make or break your campaign. Okay, moving on. So here we can have custom audiences. That is a video for a different day. This is how we do retargeting. Just so you have an understanding of what it is, essentially it's a list of customers that have already interacted with you, so a warm audience. So this could be anywhere from people who have signed a form to come and view the gym, or people that follow you on Instagram, or have watched a particular video of yours on Instagram or your YouTube, or they've downloaded a free resource that you've pumped out. Whatever it may be, you can put that here, but that's not going to be applicable for this tutorial. That is, as I say, a story or a video for another day. Languages, again, we can set this if we are marketing in several countries, but not going to be applicable for us. Okay, so now we get on to advantage plus audiences. So I'm just going to show you what this looks like. So here we can set age again, but like I say, these are more of the guidelines. So we're pointing Meta in the right direction here, but these are rules that they can break. So if we were to set the minimum age at 30, that doesn't mean that it's not going to start targeting 25-year-olds if it thinks that those 25-year-olds have a good likelihood of converting. Or at least turning into leads, again, because we've selected leads as the campaign objective. So for us as gym owners, there's really not any point in setting anything as of yet. Okay, if we do find ourselves with a massive audience size, even though we've set the smallest radius on our location, then we could go into detailed targeting and perhaps make fitness one of our interests. So we can go down here and, you can't. If you can see at the bottom of the screen, we sort of got physical fitness, and then at the end we have a list of what type of targeting this is. So those three are interests. These are all interests. But here you can see, so we've got Zumba Fitness as an employer, so someone who owns a fitness business and employs people for Zumba, or fitness professional as a job title, or muscle and fitness employers. Okay, so people who hire people within this sort of industry. So we can get quite fancy with the targeting. So Zumba Fitness in school. The main ones are going to be interest, particularly for us. So we're going to keep sort of physical fitness as an interest, or anytime fitness. You know, you can get all sorts of different options when it comes to targeting. But like I've said in the video where I talked about the meta ad blueprint, broad targeting is going to be the way to go. Okay. We're going to allow Meta to do its own targeting and find the people that have the best likelihood to convert based off its own AI and machine learning, and let the algorithm sort of become this powerful machine which just carries us to results. The main thing that we need to worry about when it comes to our ads is the creative and the copy that we're using, okay? Because Meta can't really help us with that, so that's our responsibility. So I've said this before, but when it comes to building out your campaigns and your Meta ads, you need to be spending about 20% of your time, or even 10% of your time, on this that I've just done, and then the other 80 to 90% on building out really, really compelling ad copy and really good ad creatives. Those are the big needle movers that you have control over when it comes to your ads. Okay, before a few years ago, there were things like media buyers who would come in and sort of hack the system and would know all of the fancy tricks and tips that you could use to get your targeting perfect, so you're targeting the best sort of people. But as the meta ad sort of system has evolved and progressed, the algorithm, the AI and the machine learning that powers this system is just far more powerful than any sort of manual targeting that you're going to be doing. So just let it work its magic. Give it the money that it needs, essentially, to learn, and then focus on the things that you have control over, like ad creatives and ad copy, okay? And then let Meta do the other stuff. So for us, I would leave this. So you don't even need to click into Advantage plus audiences for your first campaign, okay? Just set your targeting, set your minimum age if it's applicable. So if you work with elderly people, maybe you want to change it. The only other thing that I would say if you're a women's only gym, then here you want to come in and select women, okay? Or if you're a men only gym, then men, okay? But for most people, we want to keep that as all. Another thing to keep in mind is if we are selecting a gender, then that is going to slice your estimated audience size in half. So you have half the amount of people to target as you want to. So here you can select gender, okay? You can select gender. Now, one thing that we need to keep in mind, that if we are picking genders, then it's going to slice your estimated audience size in half. As you can see here, as we select men, we've cut it in half. Women is actually slightly more, but essentially we're cutting it in half. Now, this is going to be very useful if we're going to be making gender-specific ad sets, okay? So one thing that is useful for us to do, particularly when we're talking about health and fitness, is men and women naturally, you know, in terms of biology, are very different. Okay, the way that they are put together in terms of their biology is extremely different. So the goals and how people want to look based on their gender is slightly different. Now, these are not set rules, but men have different goals when it comes to the gym compared to women. Now, this is sort of based off averages. This is not the rule, but what is going to be useful for us is we are going to separate our ad sets by gender. So for the sake of the video, we're going to be doing women as our ad set name. So what I'm actually going to do, so we can keep this more organized, is we're going to go broad targeting, female 1. Now, this is going to be useful. Actually, no. Yeah. So this is going to be useful because we are going to be targeting women. And what this does is it allows us to build our ad creatives and ad copy, which is compelling to women on average. Okay. This isn't necessarily, you don't have to do this, but this will definitely help. And this is definitely something worth testing out. This is something that we do for our clients. Because we do find that different language resonates more with different different genders. Now, one thing that you definitely need to do, though, if we are doing this, is build out another ad set which is for males, and make sure that that is running, and that the ad creatives and the ad copy is specifically using language that males want to hear and resonates with them more. So, for example, if we're talking about men, they're going to be slightly more interested in things like bulking up or building muscle on average, whereas women are going to be slightly more emotionally compelled to things like toning up or sort of buzzwords like legs, bums, tums, or things like that. Okay, so you need to speak to your members or your customers. You need to understand what language resonates with them. Okay, what labels do they assign themselves to? What are their goals? What are their pain points? And understand what are the different pain points that women have and the pain points that men have. And that's going to really help you dictate what kind of language that you use within your ad copy, and also the imagery that you use in your ad creatives. So, with that said, this is going to be a female ad set. So the ad is actually going to be built out with women in mind. So we're going to say here, we're going to say, oh God, female ad 1. Okay, again, we're keeping this very simple, very easy to understand. So we could actually call this 1.1 because it's within ad sets 1. And then if we're running several different female ads, then it would be ad 1.2, 1.3, 1.4, and so on. So let's move on. So here we can pick the identity, so we can pick what Facebook page or Instagram account this is going through to. So as long as your Instagram account is all connected up to your Meta account, then this will go straight to your Instagram account. So here we're going to create the ad. So we import any imagery that we want, and we also write our ad copy. Okay, so here we are. So what I've done is I've just quickly built out the ad. You can do that all in here. You can edit media. You can import your images here, and then as you do that, you build out your ad copy. So I'm just going to show you, this is okay there. I'm just going to show you what this looks like. So you can see the image here is picture of 3 women pulling on a rope. Obviously, they're training together. This was an example that I used in one of the videos that I spoke about at the beginning, sort of leading up to this video, this walkthrough. But why is this image good? So this is good because this looks like the sort of thing that a member would post and doesn't necessarily look like an ad, okay, which is great, because for some people what happens is they see an image that inherently looks like an ad, and their ingrained ad blocker that they've been developing over the last 5-6 years, where social media has been so prominent in everyone's life, they're going to swipe past what looks like an ad very quickly because of this ingrained ad blocker. And people aren't on Facebook and Instagram to look at ads, okay? They're there to see what their friends have done over the weekend, or catch up with the influencer that they follow or the celebrity that they follow. They aren't there to be sold. So to bypass this sort of ingrained ad blocker that everyone has, if we can use an image that doesn't inherently look like an ad, then that's going to be at least enough to hopefully get them to stop scrolling. And then once they've stopped scrolling, that's the job of the ad creative done, okay? What we can do is we can include text that is perhaps evoking some sort of emotion. So perhaps the text on the ad is making someone curious or triggered or angry or upset or happy or excited, or it makes them get FOMO. There's so many different tactics that you can use when it comes to ads. So there is no right or wrong, but simple imagery like this can be extremely effective, provided that you're using the right sort of image. So this is good because we can see 3 women here. So this is within the female ad set. So what this is going to do is it is going to allow women who are viewing this ad relate more because they are within the same gender. Okay, so they can see other women doing the thing that they want to do. Hopefully the people that we are getting in front of are people that are interested in losing weight. They want to be healthier, they want to look better, but they also want to maybe come to the gym and have a bit of a community feeling. So they want to be able to go to the gym with people that are friendly and make friends and become a part of a community. And we can see that the women here are laughing, they're obviously having a good time, but they're also pursuing healthier lifestyle and getting fitter and getting healthier and looking better. So this image, although very basic, does sort of tell a bit of a story and allows people to subconsciously buy into it far more because of the story that we are telling. Now, there are so many other different types of ads that you can run. Like I said, you can use some sort of emotional provoking text along with an image. You can use testimonials. There's so many different options. This is good because if you're a gym owner and you have members and you have a phone, then you can make this happen. Okay, you can just go in, you can tell oh, carry on training, I'm just going to take a picture, are you okay with that? If they say yes, take a picture, tell them that you're going to be using it on your ads. If they're okay with that, then use it. Okay, and you don't need any fancy equipment, you don't need lighting, you don't need a mic, you don't need any of that, you don't need editing skills, you just need a phone to take a picture on. So that's why I'm including this, because literally anyone can do it. Okay, you don't need any sort of media training or videography training. Okay, that's why videos are tough, because videos are very good and you can tell far more of a story with a video because it's not simply one frame like a picture. But videos are extremely time consuming. They require additional skills and softwares, like editing softwares, that can be quite expensive and hard to understand, and that's just more time and effort required for us to actually start generating results for our business, which isn't ideal. Okay, I'm assuming if you're watching this, you want to start running your ad campaign as soon as you possibly can, and what you don't want to be hearing is, okay, and then you need to go spend £1,000 on an editing bit of software, you need to buy a camera, and you need to spend hours of your life understanding how the editing software works so you can build out a really good video. You don't want to hear that. What you want to hear is you can take your phone, take a picture of your members, whack it into your Meta ad campaign, and then jobs are good. So that's why we're using this image. And again, we are using avatars or characters within the ad creative that are very similar to the people that we are looking to target. So in our case, females are the targeting option, so we are using females within the ad creative. Now, I'm not going to build out the male ad set because everything that you learn from the female ad set you can then take and use within the male one, but obviously for your male ad sets you'll be using images of men. Okay, so just make the picture of the avatar and the language that you're using around that within the ad copy suit the people that you are targeting. Okay, that's really, really key, because what we want to almost create is we want the person that is reading our ad to feel like the ad is speaking directly to them and their pain points. What we don't want is sort of just basic generic language that doesn't really resonate with people, because that's not how you get people to buy or convert. Okay, it needs to be very emotional. It needs to talk to people's pain. It needs to talk to people's goals, and they need to feel like this ad was literally like made for me. Okay, if it's just generic stuff that they don't really care for, then your ads aren't going to be compelling and they're not going to be effective, which means you're not going to generate results, unfortunately. So let's move on to the copy now. I just wrote this out before, so I'm going to start with the headline, because this is arguably the most important thing. So when we're looking at the ad preview here, you can see where the headline will show up. So our headline is free 7-day pass to location's favorite fitness studio. Now, the only downside, which I'm going to start with the negatives, is, as you can see, the headline starts to cut off because it's too long. So depending on how big the name of the place is where you are, this might be an issue because it's not ideal that the headline is getting cut off here. Okay, that's really not ideal for us. But the benefits of this. So why are we using this language? Okay, so we're starting with the offer here. So this is an enticing offer, which I've spoken about a lot on this channel. I have my own video about offers, why they're powerful, why you should use them. So again, that will be on my channel. Go through, look at that if you don't quite understand what I mean by an offer or why we're using it. But here we've got 7-day free pass to locations, favorite fitness studio. So free 7-day pass. Okay. Tangible value that people are getting, so they know exactly what it is that they're going to receive by clicking on this ad. Okay, I'm looking for a 7-day free pass. So tangible value that people can almost touch. I mean, you can't touch like a 7 days, but it is a thing that people can quite easily understand. Okay, if you're using a free health checkup or something like that and people don't really understand what you mean by health checkup, then that might be slightly confusing to the viewer, whereas free 7-day pass is very easy to understand. Everyone knows what that is. So simple language, simple offers that people can instantly understand and see the value in. And then we're using the location to call out the audience. So if you live somewhere and you see an ad that includes the name of the town or the city where you live, you're inherently going to be more attracted to that ad because it relates to a location that you have an affinity with or a relationship with. Okay, if it's an ad about a town where you grew up, then you're going to spend more time looking at it because you're more emotionally invested in that place because it's familiar to you, and perhaps you have memories there or whatever it may be. If you live there, you're inherently more interested in what that ad has to say. A good example of this is if you're watching the news. This is quite a dark example, but if you're watching the news and you see that a murder took place in a town near you, then you're going to be far more interested in understanding what happened, who was it, where did it happen, what specifically went down, because it's part of the area where you live. But whereas if it happened 3 hours away in a town that you've never heard of, then you're not going to be as interested because you have no relationship with that location. You have no affinity with it. So by using the location's name, so either the name of your town, your area, maybe even your county, that probably wouldn't be too effective. The more specific that we can get with locations, the better. But by using the location name, it's going to allow the people within the area that you're targeting to emotionally buy into the headline and catch their eye and stop the scroll, which is what we're looking for. So that is the headline. Like I say, I've gone through offers before in a separate video, so if you want to understand more about sort of this whole offer that we're using here, then go check that out. And then we're moving through to the ad copy. Now, I'm not going to spend too much time on the ad copy. I've did a very long video about ad copy, so you'll fully understand all the techniques used within this ad copy and why we're using it. But essentially, again, we're using the location and we're also using a label that our targeting, or the people that are being targeted, are going to relate to. So this is a female ad set, so we're using attention ladies of location. Okay, so very compelling first line copy. We're calling people out in two ways. We're using labels that they are assigned to, or labels that they sort of relate to, and locations that they have a relationship with. Okay, so very powerful intro line to the primary text. Ready to kickstart your journey and feel fitter, leaner, and more energized. For limited time, we're offering 20 free-day passes to a gym location where you'll burn body fat, get closer to your ideal body, build a stronger body and mind, ready for anything. Join a community to keep you motivated. So we'll stop there and I'll just go through. So here we're looking at the benefits. So feel fitter, leaner, more energized. These are benefits that our customers can look to receive when they actually buy from us or sign up to the gym, or if we're using this as an online coach, if they buy our coaching services or buy our program or enter our challenge or whatever it may be. Here we're focusing on the benefits. We're not focusing on features. So what we're not saying is ready to start your fitness journey, where you'll do 30 minutes of cardio every day, do 3 HIIT sessions a week, and I'll get you to do 10 pull-ups after them, or whatever it may be. We're not talking about features. We're talking about the benefits that people will receive from the features of our program, service, product, whatever it is that we're advertising. Okay, moving on, we're offering 23 7-day passes. So 23 7-day passes. By putting a number on the amount of passes that we have, we're adding scarcity to this offer, which means people are going to inherently be more proactive to take action. Okay, it's going to add that level of urgency because people know that there are only 20. There's a finite amount of these 3-day passes, so I need to act now before they sell out or before they're all gone. So by using this, we're using scarcity, and it's going to just prompt people to take action quicker, which is what we want. Again, we've got a list of benefits here. These aren't focused at all on any sort of features. These are all the benefits that people can look to get from our offer. So bonus, so more value here, more tangible value that people can get. Free fitness consultation. This might be slightly confusing because people might not know what is involved in free fitness consultation. So that might be slightly confusing to people, but this isn't our main offer. This is sort of a supplementary add-on to our primary offer, which is our 7-day free pass. But by here, we're just sort of sweetening the offer here. More free stuff that people can take advantage of. So that's going to hopefully be more enticing to a viewer. Again, adding more urgency here, as they know this is a scarce offer. There are a finite amount of 3-day passes up for grabs, so we're telling them to basically hurry up. Spots are limited, they're filling up fast. Don't miss the chance to achieve your fitness goal in a welcoming, no pressure environment. So we're adding urgency, like I said, but also we're just making sure that people are aware that this is a very welcoming, no pressure environment. So we're hopefully making people feel slightly more comfortable about coming and inquiring about our services. And then at the end, very, very clear and simple call to action. Click sign up to claim your free pass today. And then you can see that the sign up button is right there. And then no strings attached, just results. So just a nice little added extra at the end there, just to allow people to sort of trust us slightly more, because what some people might be skeptical of is you promoting a free offer and them then thinking, okay, but what's the catch? You're giving me this thing for free, but what are you then going to try and sell me? And of course, we are going to eventually try and sell them something, but what we're not going to do is sort of strong arm them into like forcing them to buy something. Okay, we're going to use very tactical, clever sales strategies to slowly convert them into a paying customer once they have come in for their 7-day free pass. But this is going to be very low pressure stuff. And if people genuinely don't want to buy, then we're not going to be pushy or nagging. If people tell us no, then fine, no. But what we're hopefully going to do is we're going to bring people through to our gym. Okay, they're going to enjoy the 7-day free pass. Because we provide such an amazing service, our gym is great, the community is great, the customer service is second to none, then they're going to love what they've come for, and then the sale is going to be pretty much done for you because of the excellent service that you are providing as they redeem their free 7-day free pass. So that's the goal here. Of course, there might be some people that you do then need to put through some sort of sales process. They do need that final bit of persuasion, but the barrier to entry for them is going to be far, far less because they have already tried it before they've bought it. They understand the value, and this only works if your service is actually good. Okay, if you provide a good service that is worth paying for, then people are going to pay once they've enjoyed it for free for 7 days or 10 days or 2 sessions or whatever your offer may be. This does not work if your offer is below average or just bad. Okay, so this is a meta ad campaign. We can't fix your actual service. That's down to you. But provided that you do provide a good service, and you'll know if you do because of how many customers you get and what sort of reviews you get. So obviously, if you watch this, I'm sure the service that you provide is great. So you don't need to worry. But that's sort of the tactic here, is which basically we want to get people in for free or at an extremely low barrier to entry. There's no risk for people to come because, again, it is free. All it's going to potentially waste a bit of their time. So that's going to be very easy for people to get on board from an outsider coming in, as a cold audience coming in. And then once they do come in and you're really friendly and your customer service is great and your advice is good and you really help them out and they get loads of value from it, then it's going to be silly for them to not then go and buy. So that's sort of the tactics that we're using here. So that's the copy. Advantage plus creative is something we're not going to cover today. Destination. So this is the instant form. So we don't have an instant form created. Again, like I said, you can just click here, create form. The only options that you want on your instant form, particularly for your first few campaigns, is literally just name, number, and email. You only want something to contact them from. So if we can get an email, we can start sending them emails. We can add them to an emailing list and sort of a follow-up chain where we send them emails. And then if we get the number, which is the most important thing, which means we can then call them, which is going to be the most effective way of actually trying to convert people. A phone call within the sort of the first 5 to 10 minutes that someone actually leaves their information with you, your likelihood of converting them into a customer or qualifying them for the offer is going to be far higher than if you called them like half an hour later, or God forbid, like the day after they leave their information, because that's just a massive no-no. Your follow-ups, particularly your first one, needs to be extremely soon after they leave their information. I've got a video about follow-ups also, so if you're unsure about how follow-ups work, how often you should be doing it, when you should be doing it, and how you should be doing it, what channels to be using, then go and watch that. That was actually the first video that I ever posted. So yeah, like I say, please go and watch that to understand more about follow-ups. But essentially we are just looking for a name so we know what to call them when we contact them, and then some sort of channel to be able to contact them through, so email and phone. Simple as that. And then tracking. So if we were using websites, then we want to connect up a CRM or a pixel. But for us, if we're using instant forms, then we don't need to worry about that too much, because all of the tracking can happen within Meta, because we're not taking them off platform, because instant forms keeps them on either Facebook or Instagram, whatever they're viewing the ad on. So again, that's another reason why instant forms are just that slightly bit easier, because we don't have to worry about setting up complicated pixels or ad tracking softwares. And then, yeah, so that is everything. Creative testing. We won't need to worry about that right now. So you can see the ad here. Let me do this. So you can see all of the different placements where the ad will show up and how our ad copy will show up around it. So another reason why you want to be using a... let me just click. Let me just click off here. So another reason why in the primary text here we want to be using sort of a headline style at the top is because on certain placements our actual headline isn't going to be the first thing that people see. So you can see here on the Instagram stories, the description or the primary text is the first thing that shows up and not the headline. Whereas on Facebook, this one on the far left, the first thing that shows up here is the headline. So we need to keep this in mind, that we almost have like two headlines, which is the actual headline, but then also the first line of the primary text. So keep that in mind, make both of them very compelling. I mean, all of your copy should be extremely well thought through and compelling, but that's just another little tip for your ad campaign. And yeah, so with all this information, you should have everything that you need to at least build out your first ad campaign, start running tests, start getting results, and then make changes based on the results that you get. So yeah, this is literally the sort of ad campaigns that we build out for our clients that generate us results. So I've held nothing back here. All of the tips, tricks, setups, strategies, you name it, I've included in this video. So yeah, hopefully you can now go and build out your own successful Meta ad campaigns and start generating results. Okay, so with all of that, you should now have all the keys and the information that you need to build out your first or even your fifth or your sixth Meta ad campaign that will actually generate you results. Okay, as you can see, it is quite easy. Like I said at the beginning of the video, you just need to understand what goes into it. So now you do. So take this information, build out your own ad campaigns, and you will start to see results. And when you do, come back to this video and leave a comment and let me know that you did. If you're looking for more information on how to grow your gym or your fitness business, then please subscribe. I'm posting as much value as I possibly can that's going to help anyone within the fitness industry scale up their business. So like I say, subscribe, stick around, because I'm just going to keep on coming out with useful information, tips, tricks. Now, if you are looking for a bit more of a hands-on solution to your customer acquisition problem and you are within the fitness industry, then we have a service for that. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to leave a link in the description which you can go and click on. Now, that link is a sales funnel, and the video on it and all the information on it is designed to get you to book a call so you can chat with me. We can understand your problems, where your business is at, what your goals are, and how we can get you there. Okay, but like I say, this is a sales funnel. It is designed to get you to book a call and then eventually buy something. So I just want to make that clear. So if you're not interested in that, fine. I'm just happy that you made it to the end of the video. Hopefully you found this valuable, and hopefully it does help you. But for the select few of you that are watching this, that are looking for a more personalized approach and a fully done for you solution to this customer acquisition problem that you have, then click that, find out more. But anyway, I'll catch you in the next video. Cheers.